It's just as you described. It's sexy and bonkers and violent and...
So an easy kind of summary line that I've come up with for this play, which maybe only works on people of a certain age, but it works on me, is it's like the first 2/3 of this play was written and directed by John Hughes, and then it was finished up by Quentin Tarantino.
Yeah, no, I would say that's accurate. I would say the last scene of the play, don't leave an intermission. You will want to see what happens at the end, because there is no way to prepare yourself for it. It is shocking and crazy, and yeah, if you thought the ending to Hamlet was crazy, let me let you in on a secret.
So I first learned about Women Beware Women about 6 years ago when I was looking for classic scripts by playwrights other than William Shakespeare. And I think I was browsing a list of people's favorite non-Shakespeare plays from the Elizabethan period. And I readily admit that I judged it by the title, because it was a fascinating title. And I said, well, that sounds interesting. I wonder if the play is any good. And the more I dug into it, I'm like, oh, it's good. Oh, and it's bonkers. Oh, and it's amazing. And it's sexy, and it's violent, and it's also hilarious.
Level of, because there are definitely Shakespeare plays that have a lot of violence in them, but there's something a little bit more like made for TV about Middleton that I don't really know how else to describe it as. It's like I can imagine this just being part of like a really gory episode of something rather than something a little more highfalutin. It's just really fun. It's just it's just fun.
Yeah. Sarah had mentioned the made-for-TV aspect of Middleton, and in past years when we've worked on different scenes from Women Beware Women in the Valentine's show, one of the things that struck us was that it's very contemporary in his comedic sections. Like, he does things that feel absolutely like a sitcom plot, right down to the silly attempts to hide something that everybody knows is there, and to talk around a problem that clearly is not going to go away. It doesn't feel like, oh, this is an old-timey joke that I need to know 5 English kings in order to understand the reference, or I need to know what an anti-pope is. Like, it's very straightforward comedy, while people are having this, elevated emotion and elevated language.
Yeah, I'd say my favorite character, it has to be Bianca. She's such a fun character to look at from her beginnings as this very kind of wide-eyed, in love, lovesick teenager, to learning, oh, the world is a bit more manipulative and sinister than I thought, and I'm going to adapt to that. And then continuing to grow into her character of, I'm going to be the one who pulls the strings. I'm not going to let the world tell me what I can and can't do. And in the end, it really does bite her pretty badly. But she's just such I think she's someone that people can really relate to and think, like, when they were young and they thought they knew everything, and then later on something happened and they realized, oh my gosh, I don't know anything. And there's something really, really fun about that. There's something very vulnerable about that. And I think Bianca's journey is really the most interesting one to watch.
And she's always so sure.
Always so sure. She just knows. I mean, she's a teenager. She knows everything. Yeah. I had never heard of it before, but I could tell you were really excited about it. And then when we were doing the read-throughs, even when you're auditioning and you're just reading the sides and you don't know anything about the play, it became very clear what the play was about in about the first couple of lines that you started reading. And the comedy of it being, like you said, so down to earth, a bit raunchy, a bit kind of like tongue-in-cheek. I would say that it really builds, and it makes a really nice parallel to the amount of really serious tragedy and kind of emotional distress that a lot of the characters go into as well.
What's always struck me about it is that, because Middleton was coming up as a playwright, kind of as Shakespeare was winding down. And I do feel like in ways that maybe Shakespeare wasn't doing as obviously, at least obviously to me, that Middleton was playing with some of the tropes that are out there in ways almost that spoof films like Airplane send up earlier disaster movies, where they're saying, like, you the audience, you know the form of this. So if I show you a character that, for example, breaks her marriage vows, you the audience know that character has to die by the end of the play. But by kind of stringing that along and saying, like, well, but before that happens, what if she did this? Mm-hmm. And before that happens, what if she also did that? In a sense, it kind of has that feel of like American films, what they call from the Code period, mm-hmm. where if anybody did anything bad, they kind of had to be punished or die or both by the end of it. But you start to see, people kind of play with those tropes. Mm-hmm. I always think of the old Alfred Hitchcock Presents TV show, where when they would put a story out there where it appears that the killer got away with it or the thief gets away with the jewels, Alfred Hitchcock would always come on at the end and say, well, of course he was caught and convicted. So they would never show it narratively, but he would just say, well, for propriety's sake.
Mm-hmm. That way. And now getting to really get to break down all these lines, these intentions, these scenes, these moments with the actors, getting to think about, how is an audience going to see this? Because when you're on stage acting, you don't get that third person perspective necessarily. You're always listening to someone else give you feedback about it. You can go on instinct for most of it, but being able to be that person in the audience who can see what the audience is going to see and try to feel what the audience is going to feel and help the actors be able to, you're like this really cool middleman, this conduit between actor and audience, and so far it's just been really fun. I mean, I'm learning a lot, and I'm definitely excited to maybe keep playing with directing things in classical theater, because there's just so much meat to it. Yeah.
So it's been on our list of things to do for a really, really long time. In addition to doing a staged reading with Falcon Bridge Players in 2019, we've given Women Beware Women a tryout in scenes in our Valentine shows in multiple seasons. And it's always gone over really well with audiences, even if they're unfamiliar with the source material.
But some people probably getting unfairly punished more than others. Not every punishment, I think, fits the crime, which I think will encourage people in the audience to have these kind of visceral reactions of like, no, I really like that character. No, I can't believe that happened to them, because there's no pulling punches